face or not, but I find that some people need that because it's distracting to have other things going on. Other people like to see what's going on with everybody, so it's up to you, but I love that we have those options. So I just wanted to remind you guys of that. So let me actually introduce myself first. So my name is Britany Simoneaux. I live in Mississippi on the Gulf Coast. We have a tiny, tiny, tiny little stretch of beach, and I just happen to live really close to it, and I love it. So most people don't even know that Mississippi has a beach, but we do. It actually is the world's longest man-made beach because it's like 100 miles of man-made beach or something. 73 miles. There you go. So there's a little random tip for you. If you ever find yourself over here, you can say that you went to the longest man-made beach, or you know someone who lives by the longest man-made beach at the very least. So that's one little fact about me is I live in Mississippi. Another little piece of information that may be relevant to you since you're coming to learn about essential oils from me is why should you listen to me? What do I know, right? What separates me from the people who work at Walmart who also sell essential oils, right? So what I'll share with you about that is I've been using doTERRA essential oils since 2014, which means I'm not great at math, but I think that means I'm moving into my 7th year. So that gives me a lot of experience. So not only am I using the oils, I'm teaching about the oils, I'm sharing the oils, but I also just have life experience. I have a degree in social work, and I did practice as a social worker in a corporate setting for not several years, probably about 3 or 4 years, and decided that it wasn't the best way for me to serve other people, even though that was what I wanted to do, was to be there to serve other people. So I found doTERRA actually because I was looking for natural options to provide for my clients. Like, where could I send them if they wanted to have natural support for their anxiety or whatever, things they were visiting with me for. And I had no idea that I would become the #1 fan of those same things I was looking for them. Like, I take the things that I found worked really well for anxiety and pain and sleep and all the things. So it's really just, I think the main thing that I bring to the table is experience. And a lot of people will say experience is what makes an expert. So in that sense, I'm a bit of an expert. I'm not the leading expert. There are a lot of people, even in this Zoom room, who probably know a whole lot more than I do, but I know enough to be able to help myself and then help people who need help. And it just goes from there. It just spreads and spreads and spreads. So it's really fun to see all the ways that first little sample of wild orange essential oil has not only changed my life, but a lot of people that I am connected to and they are connected to, and so on. So it's a really cool little situation. So that's my story, just a little bit about me. And so with that, I guess I'll just jump into what we're going to be talking about tonight. So my focus is going to be on specific oils that are either really popular because they're just oils that you need for everyday use, or oils that have become really, really relevant recently. So stress relieving oils, things like that. I'm going to put a little bit of focus on some of those things as well. But the key here is that we're trying to just focus on the key initial introductory type of stuff, so that this class, being an introduction to oils, will serve not only people who need, sorry, just got a text from Clea. She'll be jumping on here shortly. She's my share on Facebook person. So if somebody else wants to go and do that for the one drop stop, that would be great. But if not, we'll wait till Clea joins us. So with all that being said, the point of this class is for it to be really, really easy for you to digest. But like I was just talking about with Cindy, every time I come to one of these classes, I learn something. And like I said, I've been learning about these oils for almost a decade. I mean, 7 years is closer to a decade than 0. So I'm gonna say almost a decade. And I'm still learning all the time, like all the time. It's amazing. Nature and plants are incredible, and they can do an enormous amount of things that we don't even know about yet. So there's always room to learn. So I am going to give a quick little shout out to my co-host, Courtney. She's handling all the back things. So if y'all want to chat anything, if you have questions, I may not see it because once I go into present mode, I can't even really see your faces, but Courtney will be there to answer your questions. So don't be afraid to pop in your questions into the chat. Sound good? All right. Cool. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go over to this beautiful spreadsheet, PowerPoint that I made, or I I didn't make it, but I modified it. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Present. There we go. Now we are ready to go. So I'm gonna take this down here, and I've got, awesome. There we go. Okay, so does everybody see the screen? Somebody give me a thumbs up if you can see Essential Oils Made Easy for January 2021. All right, thank you, Cindy. So this is our January class. This is the class that we do every Wednesday. And what's cool about it is that we have so many awesome people who will teach this class for us that you're always gonna catch new things. You're always gonna catch just somebody else's perspective on it. So this is the same class, but I'm teaching it, which means it's still a different class. So that's really cool. So let's take it away. So there we go. If I can just get it to work. There we go. Essential Oils Made Easy is one of the names that we use to describe this class. It is also referred to an Intro to Oils class, but it is Essential Oils Made Easy. Very beginner level, right? Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the goal of this class. So and I've kind of already alluded to it, but the goal is for me to teach you, in other words, empower you to where when you are out and about living your life, you know, you're in your kitchen and you burn yourself, or you are laying in bed because your stomach hurts, when you want solutions and answers, I want you to leave this class not necessarily always having to go to a book or go to a blog or go to the internet or whatever to find your answers. I want you to be able to go, what did she say in that class? She said if I burned myself to use lavender on it. So I want to empower you to be able to have that information not only at your fingertips, potentially in your brain, but we're also going to give you resources of other places that you can connect with that information. So you're going to leave here feeling empowered, like you know what to do with these oils. And so that's going to eliminate the risk of you having these oils and not using them, which is a waste of your money. So what the whole objective is to empower you and not waste your money. Sound good? All right. So the topics are 3 cool things about essential oils, 3 ways to use oils, and then how to get oils into your home. Super, super simple. And we should be able to wrap it up within the hour, including time for questions. So first, we're going to talk about 3 cool things about essential oils. So the first thing is that they are safe. And if you are afraid of using essential oils because you just don't know if they're safe, you can rule that out. They're totally safe. And if you have a mishap happen, we're going to go over that here in a few minutes. But there are things that you can do to make it even more safe. For example, with like a baby, or if you have sensitive skin, we're going to cover all of that. Okay. So they're safe. They are 100% natural and safe, no side effects and no addictions. I like to joke that they have side benefits instead of side effects. And I'll give you an example. You may be using lemon oil to make your house smell really bright and clean and happy. But did you know that lemon oil can help with a runny nose? Side effect, right? Side benefit, because it's a good thing. Okay, so the second thing here is they are extracted from plants with amazing health benefits. So we're going to get into that a little bit deeper, but the gist of it is that they are either, well, specifically with doTERRA, they are either steam distilled or cold pressed, which is the only 2 ways that you can extract essential oils and maintain purity. If there is any other method being used, like a CO2 extraction method or any other extraction method, it's going to leave behind trace amounts of the thing that you're using to extract. So if you're using CO2, for example, it's going to leave CO2 behind in the final product. So that's not actually pure, right? So that's just one little tip I'll give you there, a tip of the iceberg. But the other thing that's important to understand is that they are 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs. So if you're using dried oregano in your spaghetti because you know it tastes good and it's good for your immune system, that's great. And it does provide some benefit, but it's nowhere near what it's going to be with something like an essential oil. So you definitely are going to get a better, a better bang for your buck with the essential oils because of the potency and the way that they are able to affect the body on such a much bigger scale. Okay, So now we're going to talk about this lovely label here, certified pure therapeutic grade. You will actually see that. Let me see if I can show you on here. On all of your oil bottles, I don't know if you can see that, but it says CPTG, certified pure therapeutic grade. And that is doTERRA's standard. So instead of paying for things like organic labeling and non-GMO labeling and things like that, doTERRA has created a standard that is above those things. And it's easier for us to source oils in places like Bolivia, where the organic standard is defined kind of weird, or other countries where maybe you can get an organic certification, but all it is you're writing the check and sending it to somebody and they give you the stamp of approval. They don't even come out to the farm, for example. And doTERRA recognized the inconsistencies there and said, we need to create our own standard that is across the board. When people see doTERRA, they know that it equals that, not, oh, it doesn't have that label or that label. So it's about trusting the company and the integrity and the transparency. So that's what that CPTG stands for, pure and potent. So the first oil we're going to talk about with this is peppermint. So if you have a bottle of peppermint, normally if we were in a class, we'd be passing oils around. So a lot of you might actually have oils on you at home. So I am going to reach for my peppermint and enjoy a little bit of that right now. It's good to use oils like this in the beginning of the class because, like it says, it's energizing. It's promoting clear breathing. It's cooling to the body. So I just put a drop of peppermint in my hand. I'm rubbing my hands together and I'm going to just tamp the back of my neck to kind of cool me off because, yes, I'm a little bit nervous teaching this class, even though I've taught this class several times. I'm a little hot, so I'm just going to cool myself off, right? You can tamp your forehead, you can do your cheeks, anywhere like that where you just want to cool yourself down. And you can also use it when you actually have an elevated temperature as well, just to kind of cool the body down, right? And then, of course, relieves head tension. The Zoom camera thing keeps moving around. Or I keep having to move it around. So let me just minimize that. Okay. So yeah, relieves head tension. So again, if you wanted to use it for head tension, I would recommend using it along the hairlines instead of just on the temples, for example, because it may get a little too close to the eyes and make your eyes water a little bit. Not a big deal if that happens. You actually, I'll give you a tip here. You don't want to use water if you get it in your eyes, because we all know oil and water don't mix, right? So you don't want to make the mistake of including or trying to wash it away with water. You actually want to use something that has some fat in it, like an oil, like olive oil or even milk. It has fat in it, so it will actually draw the essential oil away from where you're sensitive rather than driving it in like water. So again, with the head tension, just kind of keep it close to the hairline. You'll be fine. Or on the back of the neck, anywhere in that area is going to provide a tremendous amount of relief. So the second thing about essential oils is that they are effective. So we have this cute little chart or diagram of a cell right here, and you've got some funky stuff on the outside of the cell and some funky stuff on the inside of the cell, things that we don't want, that don't belong. We don't want them to thrive. So we have options. And this little wavy line here is showing the essential oil. And what that means is it penetrates inside the cell wall. So this makes them more effective than modern approaches to health problems, because if you have something funky going on and you go to the doctor and they aren't able to help you because they just don't have things that work for that, they essentially just kind of send you home and say, sorry, right? Here's some things that might make you more comfortable, that might help manage your symptoms. And it's because the modern approach typically won't allow whatever the medicine is to penetrate inside of the cell where things like viruses live. They actually take over the cell like a parasite. So essential oils are able to get in there and essentially make the environment of the cell not inhabitable to the funky stuff. So it has to either leave or something has to change because it's not able to thrive inside of that cell anymore. So you really want to be using oils like On Guard every day because it promotes a healthy immune function. It soothes the sore throat. It is cleansing, hold on, cleansing for home and hands. So I like to pretty much clean everything with On Guard. I clean my floors, I clean the table surfaces, the counters, the dishes, everything gets cleaned with On Guard. And then I also put it on myself to make me less of a happy, friendly environment for bad stuff to come in, basically. So that is effective. And then the third thing about essential oils that is so cool is that they are affordable. So one of the first things that I said when I started with doTERRA, or before I started with doTERRA, is, wow, they're really expensive. I can get this big giant bottle of this company for like $6, and you got this little bitty bottle for 10. Like, if all things being equal, obviously I'm gonna go with the bigger bottle that's cheaper, right? But then as soon as I smelled the two side by side, there was no comparison. It was so clear to me that that wild orange was different from this orange. I didn't necessarily know what, I just knew that the doTERRA one actually smelled like I had an orange in my hand. And the other one just kind of smelled like an orange, like a candle can smell like an orange, right? So I knew there was a difference, but I still didn't understand the whole therapeutic part. I wasn't really wrapping my mind around what the differences were. So I'm going to break down the first concern I had, which was about the price. So the oils are actually more affordable than traditional medical care because they are pennies per dose. And I'm going to give you an example. So the third point is that you can save hundreds of dollars a year in medical costs. Now, I'm not the best example of that because thankfully, I don't have medical issues that have me having medical costs right now. And I hope it stays that way forever, right? But for people, and there are people in this group who could speak very clearly to this, for people who do have regular things they have to take care of with their health, if you can find a natural solution to take care of that same thing, you will save money. You always will save money because, well, there's a lot of reasons, but I'm going to give you an example. My first health thing that I was able to use the oils for, specifically that I know that I would have had to go to the doctor if I didn't have the oils, was an ear infection. I grew up with major ear problems, lots of tubes and just all kinds of stuff. I always had those stupid plugs in my ear when I wanted to go to the pool. I hated it. So I grew up, even in adulthood, getting ear infections all the time. If I accidentally tilted my head the wrong way in the shower, or I went swimming and did something stupid, I would end up with water in my ear and I would get an ear infection every time. You want to know how long it's been since I've had an ear infection? Since I started doTERRA. So at least 6 years. It's amazing. I remember when I got that first earache, I was like, oh no, I don't like this. I hate this feeling. What oils do I have? And it was tea tree, basil, and lavender. And I put those three in a blend, and I was looking for mine because I still have a roller bottle that I carry around with me for this purpose. But just to kind of give you a recipe, it was 2 drops of each for somebody who is new to oils, or maybe a baby or somebody who's real sensitive, more likely to be sensitive. You just need 2 drops of each. You could even take it further down if it's for like an actual baby, not a toddler or something. But for me, I do 10 drops of each: lavender, tea tree, and basil. But there are other options you can use as well. Frankincense is a great one too. But I put those in a roller bottle with coconut oil, and I put it on my ears, and I put a little bit on a cotton ball and laid it over my ear, and it went away. Like, the pain went away almost instantly, and there was never any infection that I actually had to go and get treatment for. So that saved me at least a copay for the doctor's visit, and then whatever prescription they would have sent me home with, I would have had to go and pay either a copay or whatever for that, which I didn't have to do any of. So I saved all of that money. And then the cost of that blend was under $1. Yeah, cheap, like really, really cheap, right? That's gumball machine money. Like, that's nothing. So very, very affordable. I believe lavender is around 8 cents a drop. Again, you can go out into the parking lot and find a dime, and you've already got more money than you needed for that drop. So the tips I'll give you about lavender is, when you think of lavender, most people think like, oh, it's calming, it's relaxing, it helps you sleep. It's actually all things calming. So if you have like a skin thing going on, whether you got a bug bite or something that's like irritated in any way on the skin, lavender is a great one to use. It is right here on the slide, antihistamine. So I know that there are side effects to using an antihistamine regularly, but most people would consider it to be generally pretty safe. But if you could find something that was even safer and even cheaper, wouldn't you? Right? Like, wouldn't that be a better option? So I would recommend exploring lavender if you have any kind of skin thing come up, but it's also, like it says, calming for the mind. So you can use this if you are feeling like some kind of anxiety during the day, like you just literally are feeling anxious feelings because you have a test coming up or because of whatever, just everyday stuff coming up. You can use that to just kind of help ground you and calm you down. You can also use it at night to help you sleep better, to help you settle into your nighttime routine. It's really cool because not only does the chemistry of the oils have that effect on the body, it also has the effect on the mind at helping you anchor into whatever it is you're trying to do. So if you're trying to create new habits, right about now is a good time of year when a lot of people are trying to create new habits. Using your essential oils to associate certain smells with certain activities is actually a really great trigger. I use a blend called Motivate to get me into work mode. And now what's cool is that I try to use that blend whenever I want to like go for a walk, and it still has that like invigorating association, not only because of the smell and the oils that and the chemical makeup of them, but also because of the association I have with being productive and that smell. So it's a great double win right there, right? Okay. So let's take it off to the next one. This is going to be 3 cool ways to use essential oils. And I've already alluded to this a lot, so it shouldn't take much explanation to understand these. So you may have noticed next to some of the images of the oils that there were these circles with letters. I'm going to explain it. We have aromatic use, and this is pretty much anything that allows you to smell it. So you can open up the bottle and smell that oil, which I'm going to do with some frankincense now. So good. So just breathing it out of the bottle, you're getting the aromatic benefit. The chemicals of that oil are rising up into your brain, into your nose, into your limbic system, into your brain, and affecting you just with breathing it in. But you can also use it in a diffuser. You can make like a room spray or a pillow spray. You can do anything to get that in the air, and that's going to be aromatic benefit. So the reasons why you would want to use oils aromatically is mostly going to be to positively affect the mood, to cleanse the air, and to support the respiratory system. So all of those make sense because they're things that have to do with breathing it in and the air. So aromatic. Anytime you see that little A with a circle on it, whether it's in the doTERRA catalog or anytime you're talking to doTERRA people, that means that that oil is meant for aromatic use. So the second way, this is my personal favorite and has been for a very long time, is topical. I love to put the oils on me. I joke that I am a human diffuser. I put them in my hair. I put them on my little bracelets. You see this one's got a little lava stone here. And then I've got more with lava stones here. I even have this one that's made out of suede, and you can put it on the suede here. So lots of opportunities to wear my oils both aromatically and topically and get that benefit. So let's talk specifically about why you would choose topically. So this is mostly going to be like, if you think of like, oh, that hurts. So it could be your shoulder, it could be your neck, it could be your head, it could be your big toe. That's when you want to apply it. So the affected area is the term here, apply to the affected area. So you can do localized benefits by pairing it with fractionated coconut oil or any carrier oil, but we recommend fractionated coconut oil for a couple of reasons. Number one is that it does not have an aroma, so it takes on the aroma of the oils. Number two is that, hey, Angela, I just saw you, I just noticed you there. Number two is that it doesn't stain your clothes. So if you've ever been to get a massage or anything like that, and you get like, you know, some awesome carrier massage oil that they're rubbing all over you, but then it got a little bit like, you know, on your clothes somehow. Or I know massage therapists who say that it stains their sheets and things like that because they're a heavier fat, basically. This has a very, very light fat. They removed all of the heavy fats from it. So it has a very light, silky feel. It absorbs really well. But there's also a level of stability that because they've removed all of those heavy fats. So it doesn't have to be refrigerated. It won't turn solid. And it essentially lasts forever. It like will never go bad. It's awesome. So it's a really great carrier oil. And you can either get it from doTERRA or there are other ones available. I would not recommend getting it at the grocery store because the one at the grocery store is the other side of the fat that they've taken out that is heavy that you want to cook with. It does not do well in a roller bottle. I can tell you from experience in the wintertime, it turns solid. So use either doTERRA's or another one that is labeled as just fractionated coconut oil, not for cooking. Okay, so now we're going to talk about internal, and this is quickly becoming a very useful way of using my oils. I used these the whole time that I've been using doTERRA, but it wasn't something that I needed until recently. And I'm really grateful to have those options because you can put it in your water. And I'm going to show you here on the camera. You see this box here? It says supplement facts. And then it just has a little bit of nutritional information about, this is lavender that I'm holding up. So you can look on your oils. I know some of y'all have oils at your, like in front of you. So take a look and see if you have some that say supplement facts. And what's cool about that is that means just like anything else that's labeled as food, that you can take it internally. So you can literally just put some in your water. So I have a stainless steel cup here. Or you can put some in a veggie cap, which doTERRA does sell some, but you can also use the ones that you find at the health food store or online. Or you can just literally put them straight under your tongue. So I'm craving a drop of frankincense right now. So I'm going to show you guys, okay? Boop. No big deal. It just tastes like licked a tree. Yay. It's not the best taste ever, but it's also not that bad. And you kind of grow to where you kind of like it. It's weird. But within minutes, I will feel more grounded and present. And you might even notice a little shift in my tone just from feeling more grounded. So let me know if you notice. So you notice here, you got the aromatic, topical, and internal. Those are the 3 letters I was talking about. And you'll continue to see that now that I've pointed it out to you. So a couple of little pieces of information for you about using your oils internally. We already talked about the supplement facts label. The second thing is that you do not want to drink these oils out of plastic, if at all possible. And when I say if at all possible, I mean like just don't use it in plastic if you can, unless you just like cannot do anything about it. Don't use plastic because it actually breaks down petrochemicals, which is awesome when you're trying to flush petrochemicals out of your body, but it really doesn't make sense to be drinking out of plastic if it's adding petrochemicals to your body, right? So you can use stainless steel, you can use ceramic, you can use even wood. Like, I don't know if anybody's got wooden cups, but you could do that. Like if you had a wooden cup and you wanted to use it, that would be better than using plastic. It may not make sense to you, but when I first started with these, I did not believe that. And so I just put it in my cup. I thought I was doing good by using a reusable cup. I was like, I don't need to switch to stainless steel and glass. And I put a little bit of lemon oil in my cup of water. And then the next time when I went to go drink out of that cup, it still tasted like lemon. And so I was like, oh, let me wash it out really good and do this again. And it still tasted like lemon. So essentially the cup was ruined and I was drinking petrochemicals. So I learned that you listen to what Angela says when she says not to drink it out of plastic. All right, so let's take it to the next segment. We're going to go over some of those really popular oils that we talked about. So we've already touched on some of the basics. Now we're going to get a little bit more in depth. So we have lemon. This is, think all things cleansing, whether something is sticky or it needs to be detoxed or it needs just anything that needs to be washed away with the funky stuff, think lemon. So you can use it to drink in your water and cleanse your body that way. You can also use it, like I mentioned, sticky stuff. A lot of people call this natural goo gone. So you can just like, if you have sticky stuff like a label, like, you have your old roller bottles and the labels you want to take off, you can just get that gooey sticky stuff off by just putting a little bit of lemon oil on there, rub it in really good, and then it wipes off with a paper towel. It's awesome. Or with a cloth or whatever, just wipes away. Like nothing works that well. It's crazy. And this is an oil that you can use all 3 ways. So aromatic, topical, and internal. And I see the chat's kind of blowing up. So I bet you y'all are dropping some tips over there about how to use lemon. Please share away. I'm excited to read all of it when I get done presenting. So that's just lemon. Lemon is the cheapest oil that doTERRA sells. It is, I think, like $10 a bottle, and it works for everything. I mean, I probably go through a bottle of lemon a month because I use it for everything. Whereas I used to use chemicals and toxic products from the store to get those same cleansing benefits. Now I just, lemon for the most part is some kind of citrus that I'm usually cleaning with because it takes away the sticky stuff and it actually cleans, which is all you can really ask for in a cleaner, right? Okay, so let's talk about frankincense. You saw me take a drop of frankincense internally, so you know it can be taken internally. It's got the supplement facts label on it. It can also be used topically and aromatically. So the main aromatic benefit that most people are seeking when they use the frankincense in the diffuser or in one of their lovely diffuser bracelets is for just calm feelings. Think like feeling grounded, feeling settled in your body, like you can make the next decision peacefully, kind of thing. It's also really awesome for anti-aging. So whether that's just softening the fine lines and things on your face, or actually doing deeper work to really do a higher cell turnover, the frankincense can help with that. Or if you're younger and you just want to promote healthy skin to stay healthy, all of those would be great uses for frankincense. And it says right here, helps cells perform optimally. So what that basically means is that if you have a cell that is kind of trying not to act like it should, maybe it needs to be, go ahead and finish its process and die so that new cells can be made, frankincense will help that. Or if it just needs a little bit of help, it can kind of help clean it up and fix it up. Like, oh, spruce the cell up, make it work better. Either way, there are significant benefits from using frankincense. And one more thing that I'll say about frankincense is that it is pretty much the amplifier of everything else. So pretty much if you don't know what to use, frankincense is a really great oil to use. Or if you like what you're using, but you want to ramp it up a little bit, frankincense is a good thing to add to everything, whether it's for your skin or your mood or anything like that for your, your, like it says, calm feelings, anti-aging, or helping cells to perform optimally. So whether that's aromatic, internal, or even just topical, you're going to get a bigger benefit by pairing frankincense with whatever else you're doing. Okay, and then the third one on this slide is wild orange. I've talked about wild orange a little bit because that was the first one that I ever experienced from doTERRA, and I immediately fell in love with it. This is another one that, if you think about it, it makes sense. It's a plant. You should be able to eat it, right? I know I eat oranges. I even eat the rinds sometimes because they taste good to me. Not everybody likes the rinds, but the point is they're safe to eat. So it makes sense that the essential oil would also be safe to eat, right? I get an amen. Somebody nod your head. That makes sense, right? So if you think about it, if the plant should be able to be eaten, the label says that it can be eaten, then you're in a really good place. That's a pure high quality oil. So wild orange is awesome to use in the morning or when you're just looking for a pick-me-up, like a boost of energy. It's very invigorating. So it just makes me so happy. Like if I'm doing something I don't want to do, use some wild orange to kind of help me tone it down and make me a little bit less miserable doing the thing that I don't want to do, right? And it's also great at uplifting the mood. So if you have bluesy days or bluesy seasons, like I know we're in the wintertime, some places they're not getting as much sunshine, or if you're just a person who is staying at home, like most people are right now, you're probably not getting as much sunshine as you should. And so that is when you would hear me refer to wild orange as sunshine in a bottle, because it really does smell like a Florida beach or something like that. It's so happy. So it's a great oil to use for that. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So now we're going to talk about 3 of my favorite blends. So we have Deep Blue. This is going to be all things aches and pains. So if you have like a knee that hurts, or if you bruise yourself, or if you have a more of like like it says eases head tension or something like that that you deal with regularly, any kind of pain, Deep Blue is your friend. And a lot of people call this a gateway oil because there are a lot of people who may not really believe in essential oils or be that receptive. And then they try the Deep Blue and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how well that worked. Can I get some more? So that oil opens the door for a lot of people because it works so well. They're curious and more receptive to other things that might also work really well. So that one is aromatic and topically. One thing I'll say about Deep Blue is like you might think like, oh, if I should have said this earlier and I just remembered. If you have like your knee hurts, for example, I use the phrase put it where it hurts. It's how I usually try to remind people how to use the oils topically. But you may have something where you're like, what about like if I want to use an oil for my immune system? How do I put an oil on my immune system, right? Like that's not on your arm. You can't just like be like, oh, there you go, I treated my immune system. So what you want to do is actually put the oils on the bottom of your feet if you're wanting to affect the whole body like that. Or if you don't know what to do with it, you can put it on the bottoms of the feet, knowing that it's going to support your whole entire system. So it's a really just kind of universal way to make sure that you're getting that benefit. And I heard a lady say, if you are having an arm pain, you're not going to put Deep Blue in the diffuser and then put your arm over the diffuser. That may be the instinct that some people have, but you actually just want to put the oil straight onto your skin. And there are some things that you're going to want to know about certain oils that are spicy. So that's when your fractionated coconut oil comes into play. Anytime you see an oil that it's not on this slide, but there's also sometimes you'll see a D with a circle, like for oregano, there's going to be a D there. That stands for dilute. So you're going to add the coconut oil to like put the coconut oil in your hand and then a couple drops of whatever oil. Like Deep Blue can be kind of intense for some people because it's got peppermint in it. Breathe also, all three of these have peppermint in them. So if you're brand new to oils or you know that you tend to be a little more sensitive, just go ahead and pair it with fractionated coconut oil because it's only going to improve the benefit. It actually makes it to where the body can absorb it more fully instead of it evaporating off of the skin while it's absorbing. So you're going to get way more bang for your buck by using a carrier oil with these oils, whether or not you're sensitive to it. Does that make sense? Okay, so now let's talk about Breathe. Breathe is an awesome blend. I use it just about every day. It literally lives next to my bed and next to my desk and in my purse because I just love it. It is a combination of things like peppermint and eucalyptus and cardamom is in there. We've got tea tree oil, lemon, lots of really good oils in there for opening up the respiratory system. And I just want to point out something really cool here. So you notice it says Breathe right here, and then right underneath it, it says respiratory blend. And then over here for Deep Blue, it says soothing blend. Those are some of the clues that you can use when if you're ever not sure about a blend, like what do I do with this? There's a little clue, I call it a clue, under there to tell you how to use it. Real simple. I mean, respiratory support, right? Breathe sounds like it would be good for breathing, but there's an extra clue there just in case you're not really sure. Oh, I think I went back. Okay. So Breathe helps with the lungs and the sinuses, and I could go into so many cool stories, but we do not have time for that. So if you want cool stories about Breathe, either connect with me or look me up on social media and we can talk about all kind of cool ways to use Breathe. But it helps with clear breathing day and night. I know I've heard countless stories about people who have to sleep with a snorer, and Breathe has changed the dynamics of their relationship. I'll just say that for the better, just by having that essential oil to put on the feet or diffuse or whatever you need to do. So now let's jump down to digestion. I know this is a godsend for a lot of people. They're just so grateful for having that tummy support because an upset tummy is definitely one of the worst feelings, I think. This is a game changer for some people. And you can use it all three ways. So you can put it in your water, you can roll it on your tummy, or you can even diffuse it. Don't know a whole lot of people who do that, but you could. It's totally safe. So the real quick relieves upset stomach, motion sickness, or nausea. And You can use it at meal times for improved digestion. So if you think about like, you know, certain foods that tend to cause you to be a little bit of an upset tummy, you can use this before or after to help provide a little bit of relief. So this is another example of put it where it hurts. It's kind of a little tricky there with that one because your digestive system is like all the way here, all the way down here, right? So you can put it where it hurts to a certain degree, like on your throat if you're having some kind of a reflux type of thing where you're burning up here, or you can put it down on your lower tummy if that's where you're hurting. But you can also use it internally. And sometimes people find that the process of it going through the throat and down into the stomach gives them the best benefit. So you kind of play around with it until you figure out what works for you. All right, so let's go to the next slide here. Now these are the ones I was talking about. I've heard these referred to as 2020 oils by many people. And I think that it's pretty appropriate because last year was incredibly stressful for everybody I know, whether you were directly affected or just living in the environment of the world. And I don't think that it's really shifted that much for a lot of people, right? So these are 4 oils that I find myself reaching for almost every single day. Like I'm looking at these 4. Yep. I've used all 4 of these today. I like to diffuse adaptive. This is a good one for aromatic and topical use. It helps to ease nervous feelings. It improves sustained attention while easing the mind. And you can just inhale it deeply to calm the heart and mind. I love this blend. It's things like wild orange and lavender and copaiba. What else is in there? Neroli, I think, is in there. There's a bunch of really awesome oils in there. So it is a great oil to have if you have anything that even kind of sort of looks like stress. Okay, we're going to jump over here to balance. This is such a staple. I mean, everybody needs this oil. It has frankincense in it. It has a bunch of really great tree oils. It's known as the grounding blend because it really helps you to like drop in. Like I talked about frankincense earlier, this having frankincense, it makes sense that goes in the grounding blend because it's grounding. So this is one you can use aromatically or topically. You do not want to consume this one internally. And it is used for, you can use it for a relaxing massage, calms the body and mind, and when diffused, it provides a tranquil aroma. It's weird. It's not a strong smell, but it's a very soft, soothing smell. I love it. I like to put this one on the back of my neck pretty much every day. Like it sets the tone for my day. If I forget to use this one in the morning, I can tell for sure throughout the day. I'm like, why do I feel like I'm not quite right? It's because I'm not using my grounding blend. Okay, Citrus Bliss. This has been a top favorite for me for years until they came out with Adaptive. To me, this is like the upgraded version of Citrus Bliss, but a lot of people just prefer Citrus Bliss because it's all citruses and just a touch of vanilla. This is an aromatic or topical use. It's very uplifting. It promotes feelings of cheerfulness, and you can use it as a perfume. It smells divine. It smells so good. Okay, and then we have the last one here is copaiba, or copaiba, as some people like to say, myself included. I'm guilty of not pronouncing it properly, so I'll say it again. Copaiba is how the Brazilians say it, I believe. So this is an oil that you can use aromatically, topically, and internally. It is blended with 4 different species of this tree in one bottle. So that's another thing that's really unique about doTERRA is that we have 4 different species, 4 different, I guess they're called species, of this tree in one bottle. Nobody else is doing that. So it's very sustainable and it gives you the most diverse profile of the benefits of that plant. So again, aromatic, topical, and internally. And a lot of people will say that this is what you can use instead of CBD because the primary chemical in CBD is beta-caryophyllene, but copaiba is actually more potent in that chemical than CBD. Not to mention that it's much cheaper and it's easier to use, in my opinion, because you just put the oil on instead of like rubbing stuff in like a cream or whatever. So it soothes aches and pains, it settles the body down for sleep, and it calms the entire nervous system. So if you feel like your whole body is just like, not wanting to be calm and peaceful, grab yourself this oil. This one oil is the one. if you're having anything that even looks like that. And I'm seeing some heads nodding, so I know I'm getting a lot of agreement with that. Okay, we're gonna jump to the next slide here. Come on, why is my slideshow being funny? Okay, so I want you to think about your top health concerns. Just pick 3. Just think about that for a second. Think about what that involves, what you have to do to live your life around that, whether it be waking up earlier or not being able to get up or not being able to go to work or having to go to the doctor's office, whatever it is. It could literally just be pain. That's what it's costing you, right? So now I want you to imagine your daily life without those concerns. Does that feel relieving? Does that feel possible? Does that feel good? Like, yeah, I would feel better without these health concerns. If that's how you're feeling, I want you to feel inspired that there are options and there are resources available for you to get to that point where you're not dealing with those things, at least not nearly as intensely. Okay, so I'm going to make one more little plug here, and this is only because I know that this is an essential oil webinar and we are an essential oil company, but what I'll point out is that even though what I just said is totally true, somehow our supplements, the Lifelong Vitality Pack, aka LLV, is our #1 product. And it's the only product where you have a 30-day satisfaction guarantee where you could use up the whole supply and send it back and send the bottles back and get your money back. And I'll tell you, in 6 years, I've never had anybody actually do that. But the fact that it's an option tells you that there is a tremendous amount of confidence in this product. And then you add to it the fact that it's the #1 product for an essential oil company. Clearly it works, right? So what I'll say about this is that if you are wanting to use essential oils, you're wanting to feel like your best self, you're wanting to thrive, you need a solid foundation. And this starts with what you eat and what you absorb from what you eat. So with this, it's going to be a solid foundation that the oils are able to then work on top of to give you the most benefit. These also do have essential oils in them in small amounts. So we have 3 different products in this kit. We have the Microplex VMZ. So I want you to think like VM vitamins, I guess. Whole food multivitamin and mineral. So this is your one-stop shop for everything. I wish I had my box. I'd tell y'all some of the things that I know people who are taking CoQ10, taking vitamin C, taking vitamin D. They're taking who knows how much money and how many pills when they could just simplify it down to this one little trio and get all of that stuff plus a whole bunch of other stuff that it's hard to find, but it's in this bundle. The second thing, which is this bottle on the top, is the Alpha CRS. And I like to joke that it stands for can't remember, if you know what I mean. But it's antioxidant, cellular energy, and longevity. So think the brain. So think of your brain functioning at its highest and paired with a body that works really well. Sorry. So if you think about it, you want your body to feel best and you want your brain to feel clear. So you pair those 2 things together and you get Alpha CRS. And then the third thing is Z Omega. Think like omega, I guess. So this is a nice blend of 3, 6, and 9 fatty acids and 9 essential oils. And I believe it is the 6s and 9s that are really hard to find in your diet. So it's really great to have a supplement that gives you that boost where it's hard to find it in food. So some of the main benefits here are antioxidant and DNA protection, eye, brain, and nervous system, liver function and digestive health, more energy and less discomfort, immune function, stress management, cardiovascular health, and healthy inflammatory response. All of those things lead to a body that feels like its best, that feels awesome. So if you haven't already tried this, I highly recommend it, not only because of the money back guarantee, but because I've heard so many people talk about how life-changing it is. All right, so do we have any questions? I'll drop in the chat real quick and see if I have anything I can answer oil related real quick. Cleo, when in doubt, pull Frank out. Exactly. Yes. Get your Frank out. There's so many good tips in here. I hope y'all are reading this. There's so many good ones. Let's see. I don't see any questions though, and I'm sure Courtney's got it under control. So I'm going to just keep going here. All right. So there are 3 ways to purchase, or we'd like to talk about the 3 options for how you can buy. So number 1 is retail. This is definitely the most expensive option, which makes sense. Anytime you're paying retail, you're paying the retail price. So obviously nobody wants to pay retail if they can help it. So what we usually say is that the retail is for the professional setting. So if you are dropping into your doctor's office or dropping into the health food store or something like that, where you need it like now, you can't wait 2 days for it to come in the mail or whatever, you're going to pay retail. I mean, it just makes sense, right? Like when I did a booth, it would be sold for retail because you're leaving with it right then. But most people, I'd say almost all people, do wholesale. And the reasons are, number 1, you get 25% off, but mostly you want to get the best products for the best price. So I'll break that down for you real quick. It's super simple. You can open up a wholesale account like you would with Costco or Sam's Club, and you pay a fee to have access to those products at that price. It's the same way with doTERRA. It's an access pass to get those prices. So it's $35 for the whole year. And then at renewal, you pay $25 and they give you a free bottle of peppermint. So it's essentially a wash. I think you end up paying like $2 for that membership, for that renewal. And then the third way to get the oils is what we call wholesale or below wholesale. So right here, it says wholesale plus points for free products. That is our loyalty program, which is awesome. You can just buy a minimum of 1 product a month and participate in the rewards program. It's not required. It's an optional thing that you could do on top of your wholesale account, but it is what most people do. It is what I do. It's the only way that I buy oils, and it's what most of my friends have chosen to do as well, because they can easily find a really high quality product that they normally would buy at the grocery store and buy it from doTERRA instead. And they're getting not only a really clean product at a good price, but they're getting those really, really awesome essential oils that have the great benefits that they do for those products that you would normally be using, something that's filled with chemicals and toxins from, the drugstore or the grocery store or whatever. So down here it says get 25% below retail with wholesale membership. And then you can, let me see if this thing will go away. No, it won't. Well, underneath that bar, I'm sure y'all can see it. It says earn free products with loyalty rewards program. So I'm actually going to add an additional option in here because we have some kits that you can start with and you get them at the wholesale price, but then because they're bundled, you get it a little bit cheaper. So that's actually below wholesale, which is the best way to get started, because not only do you not pay the $35 membership fee, doTERRA waives that. They give you the account for free if you start with one of those kits, but you also get it discounted further because it's that bundle. So great, great options here. All right, so we're gonna, there we go. So if you decide to get started with me or one of my lovely friends here that is also teaching oils classes, these are the things that you can expect from me or us. We're gonna give you a welcome packet. We are gonna give you a personal consultation, and we call this a lifestyle overview or something to that effect, because it's really highlighting not only what doTERRA can do for you, but what you might want to tackle, what you might want to address first. That's our chance to sit down and talk about that and come up with a plan. And then you get access to the VIP education groups. We love to educate in these groups and do lots of fun information. And then we do community and giveaways. So you get to be part of a community where other people might be experiencing the same things as you, or you might be able to share your experiences with somebody and say, hey, I had this awesome benefit from this oil, and I hear you're dealing with the same thing. Someone might actually come and give you tips on the issue that you're dealing with, or you might come across someone else's post talking about what it is that you're dealing with. And then we have ongoing support. So that looks like whatever you want it to look like. If you want regular support or just to pop in whenever you need something, it's all available to you. Okay, so I only have, I believe it's a few kits in here. to choose from. There are more, but in order to keep it super simplified, I just picked some of the more popular ones that I really like. This is the kit that I started with. Number one, because it's the best, like, affordable price for me, but also because I wanted to be able to continue to sustain getting at least one product a month. And so instead of getting a big old giant kit to start with, I started with the small one and then was able to grow my collection over time. This has the top 10 oils that we talked about. I believe we talked about all of these. I don't remember talking about tea tree. So tea tree is all things like blemishes and skin stuff, cleansing, whether it's internally or externally. It's also great for diffusing and cleaning. So that's just kind of, I heard someone refer to it as toilet paper oil the other day, and I was assuming that they meant everybody needs it, but I don't know. I guess I should ask. So that's a really popular kit to get started with. And then we also have this one. If you were hearing me talk about the supplements and thought, ooh, that sounds like something I should do, we have this awesome starter kit that includes the Lifelong Vitality plus this deep blue rub that you don't want to live without. And then we get 2 digestive support supplements. We have the probiotic, and it's the best probiotic because it's dual chamber, and you get not only the prebiotics, but also the probiotics. And then we have Terrazyme, which is just the best thing if you ever have any digestive issue and you just want to be a little bit more stable and regular. That's your friend. And then we've got 5 oils that we've already talked about. So you get a nice little starter set for a really reasonable price. And then I think this is, yes, this is the one. This is like the one right now for me. It has all of these awesome oils that we talked about, like Adaptive and Copaiba, but then you also get some of those more core oils for everyday use for, you know, things around the house, like lemon and lavender and peppermint. So that's a really great one. And I believe that is, oh, no, I'm sorry. I have one more on here. This is the smallest kit that we have as an enrollment kit or an introductory kit. This one has 4 products. It's $105, and you can, of course, add on things to it. So this is great if you have a bunch of things that you want to get that weren't included in a kit, but you still want to save that $35 fee. It's a great little starter pack. If this was not even available when I started, or I probably would have picked it. But that one's got Serenity, which is the restful blend, On Guard Protected Blend, and Lemon, all in the big bottles, and then a big bottle of the deep blue rub. So I believe that is all we have. No, I'm sorry. One more thing. These are some great little kits that are on the loyalty rewards program that you can choose if you just kind of want to set it and forget it and just have the things that you know you need come to you almost automatically in rotation. These are some great options to explore. And we have plenty of more information on that if that's what you want to talk about, but we're not going to get into it here. So I'll just leave it with this. If you need more support, have more questions, please text me. If I'm the one that invited you, you definitely have my number. And if I'm not the one that invited you, the person who invited you, you definitely have their number. So you should text them and say, I'm ready to get started, or I have a question about this, just to kind of get the conversation going so that they know that you're interested. Okay. And we could do things like give you tips. We can give you roller bottle blends. We can give you diffuser blends. We can give you protocols. We got oodles of information for you. So I guess that is all we have for today. Let's see. Is that, oh, no, one more. I'm sorry. I keep lying and saying that. This is the last slide. So we are, if you would like to, isn't that so cute, this keychain? It is about this big. It's only about 3 inches long, and it holds 8 oils. And you can actually get one of these from the person who invited you if you would like to host an online class. So just like this, but we can do it in a smaller, more private setting for you and just the people that you want to invite, and get some, not only get you some keychain, but also potentially get paid if anybody enrolls or orders. So I feel like I took up the whole hour. I did not leave much time for questions, but I just checked the chat and we don't have any questions that came in through there. Courtney says we're good. So if y'all have any questions, fire away, unmute yourself and let's go. Awesome. Okay. Well, I guess that means that I answered all your questions. So I will just wrap this up and say that if you have any questions, you can come to us on social media, or you can go straight to the person who invited you and we will get you taken care of. Okay. All right, guys. Love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm going to hit stop.